And we do this all the time without even thinking about it. So how do we leverage that? Things like we want to have control over our lives, whatever that means. That's a whole different lecture. Business within a world or global economy. Issues about freedom, privacy, security, self-determination, entertainment, recreation, communication, weblogs and on, emails. We've heard a lot of that earlier today. Preserving culture and possibly even creating new cultures, maintaining our health. So what does this have to do with computing? That's where all the new applications and needs are. It's your responsibility, your opportunity to figure out what are the relevant problems. How can some idea you have fit within or support one of these basic human needs? Because if you build it, people will use it because it helps them. It addresses something that's at our core. Other good news, I just want to throw this out. I did a study looking not at the traditional software development companies, because those are kind of, there's different statistics out there. We've heard about statistics earlier. But these statistics were looking at the agriculture, looking at business and retail and banking and biotech. And I got feedback from these companies and found 44% of the companies expected to increase their employment in the jobs that you're not going to find under the programming or programmer wanted sections in the newspaper. They're in other areas. But the software companies in the state are but a minimal, represent a small percentage of our overall employment. But all these other industries account for the rest of it. But every one of those industries needs good, critically thinking individuals who can learn about their industry and then figure out effective ways to use computing as a means to an end to help them move along. Growth areas, enterprise applications. How do things cross all the boundaries and businesses inside the company and outside the company? Embedded systems, all these devices and things that we have in our pockets and, the 20 pieces of electronics you have. How are they hooked together? I'm doing a lot of work right now in voice and video over the internet, basically replacing, in essence, the old telecommunications infrastructure that we're so love. Knowledge management. How do we take data? I mean, you all see data all the time. There's boxes of data. There's data sitting on the table. There's data everywhere. Some of it's useful. A lot of it's useless. A lot of it's redundant. How do we capture that data, establish its validity, convert that into useful information, and if we're really clever, we might be able to find trends within that information and possibly convert that and use that to maybe even create, or at least at minimum, represent knowledge. And of course, I don't even want to go any further, but from knowledge comes wisdom. But again, we're getting into the philosophy class now. Graphics and design, you've seen wonderful examples of that today. How we love pictures, we love movies, we love hearing stories. All those things are really common to all of us. And so how do you use computing? How can we find out applications that build on those needs? Systems analysis. These are the jobs that are not going to get offshored or outsourced. They're the ones that are the thinking jobs that say, how do we use this stuff? How do you figure out how to make your company more effective, more profitable? Your not-for-profit provide better service to the community. That's where we need you to help us out. Next generation workers. You heard a lot of this in the keynote. You have to be able to quickly learn new tools. I tell my students always, I am the master of dead languages. Okay, I know so many programming languages that, again, in acronyms that most of you will never want to know about. I even programmed in COBOL. Okay, it was worthwhile a little bit in Y2K, but then after that, the job market just out from under me. So, creative problem solving, working in complex team structures, lots of cultures, subcultures. Be multidisciplinary. Know lots of different things. What's your hobby? Think of your hobby, the thing that you do when you're tired, the thing that you do for fun. What makes that interesting to you? I bet you'll find some good insights by exploring that deeper. I talked about data, perspectives are critical. We have a world culture, and communication is key. Well, I do want to throw out a basic algorithm for you, or an equation, and this is your equation for success. If there's any formula that's important, I mean, I can get into all kinds of other things, you know, network routing algorithms, you name it, but this is the one that's most important to me after all my years in the industry, is find an interesting problem, something that you like, something that's important to you, and combine that with math, science, and your communication skills at different levels. You don't all have to be perfect mathematicians, although it doesn't hurt, but, or perfect scientists or perfect communicators, but find your strength, get good at it, make sure, be motivated, because I think the motivation will link with your problem. Leverage the advising that's around here. The colleges, the universities, technical colleges, community colleges that are here can all help you and experience, and that will equal a great career. And you can see these are, you know, we did some stuff on the community side. These are computer science students working with younger kids, getting them interested in careers in computing, talking about the benefits and potential for that. And I'm going to put one other thing up here. Whoops. And these are just to show you, computing is just not all about sitting in front of a desk, you know, programming and reading manuals. These are some of my students at the university. Some of these are community college students from Everett Community College, and others, not these folks. This is a website they developed for veterans, a very important problem and an issue for the veterans to get recognized for things that they've done. Teaching kids in a classroom, they've set up all these networks for online learning and capabilities. Actually, we get to go out and dig clams because we're doing surveys to find out, to look at the effects of pollution in the Puget Sound area on clam production and other issues. Again, lots of people, you can see it's all about team working on a program. It's not one person hiding in a corner. This is just a random shot I took at one of our software engineering labs. Doing GIS, geographic information systems, to help people figure out, look at maps and all the things that influence our decisions. Working on document management systems, scanning vast amounts of knowledge. Working with kids, again, working with the police departments, security, 911 systems. Everybody loves to unwrap computers. Working on building new facilities. This is actually building a new health clinic, and there are 2 computer science students standing out there figuring out how to route the networking and cabling diagrams to put in both wire and wireless communications. Help desk support systems. There's actually the Chancellor of the University of Washington, Bothell, standing there, Warren Buck, talking with our students, looking at problems and ways that education can work with industry. Building a new city, a whole new city up at Quilceda Village. Some of you may have heard of that. And working on language. You can look at the font on that computer. I bet you can't read that, but our students developed it. And other large structures up at Tulalip. I'll just leave it at that. Security systems, and so on. So that'll be my almost short, but a little long thing, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Study hard, come see us at UW Bothell, and work with your community colleges, because there are wonderful careers out there for you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to introduce Jeanette Jarvis. She's the Security Systems Product Manager in Infrastructure Protection Systems at Boeing. She provides architectural direction on Boeing's antivirus, encryption, and desktop firewall technologies. Her work is in computer security and working with computer viruses. She's the person who's identifying and helping and protecting us all from all of those spyware and phishing scams that are currently bombarding us daily in our lives. Jeanette, come on up, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Sylvia. Got a bunch of props here.